All right. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are joining us from here on our live streams for Canvas. This is a partner featured event, part of our EdTech Collaborative, how districts and teachers are using Canva for education. As most of you know, Canva is one of my all-time favorite tools, and I wanted our friends from Canva to feel very welcome today. So he said he was a Seahawks fan. The NFL season is starting soon. Made sure I put my Russell Wilson jersey on for him. Jason, how are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, Eddie. I love that jersey. Thank you, my man.
You're welcome. Not only, and I'm a huge Colts fan. Obviously, I'm from Indiana, but I put this on. I love this jersey because of design. And that kind of ties into the design of, the things that we do in education and speaking specifically directly to Canva today. Also joined by my good friend, Chris Giles. Oh, Canada tweet from Beaverton, Oregon. Love that he's joining us today with his good friend, Nicole Carter, who I just met a few minutes ago. We're going to talk all things Canva for education. And I'm so excited because, like I've said before, and this is another session on Canva, and we always have tons of people joining us. If you'd like to comment, if you've got questions, throw them in the comment section. Thanks for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, all of the things. Thanks again, Jason. Appreciate you being here.
Awesome. Great to be here today, and great to have Chris and Nicole from Beaverton School District. And really, once again, we're just going to talk about how Chris and Nicole are using Canva at Beaverton School District. But before we get started, what I really want to do is talk you guys through kind of what Canva for Education is. I know most of you probably know what Canva for Education is, but I'm going to give you a quick few-minute overview, and then I'll turn it over to Chris and Nicole, who will talk a little bit about setting up Canvas LMS and Canva at Beaverton School District. And then Nicole's going to talk a little bit about how they're actually using Canva within the school district. So a quick refresher, Canva for Education is a visual communication platform used by individuals, corporations, higher education institutions, and of course, K-12 school districts. And one of the amazing things about Canva for Education that aligns with our value of being a force for good here at Canva is Canva for Education is 100% free for K-12 school districts, teachers, and students. That is not a free version. That is our pro version that we continue to build on for educators, and it is 100% free. For higher education institutions, if we have any higher education institution folks joining us on the call, we offer deeply discounted rates on Canva Enterprise and Canva Pro for higher education, and I'm happy to talk to you about that as well. So what's included? Once again, we give you Canva Pro access. We give you access to millions of premium templates, group activities. We have things like talking presentations, amazing tools like background removal. We are COPA and FERPA compliant and have signed the National Data Privacy Agreement. We also offer what we're talking about today, which is the Canvas integration. We continue to build on this integration, and it is amazing. So we also have 65,000 education templates that are built by educators for educators. These include Meet the Teacher posters, infographics, resumes, lesson planning, worksheets, you name it, we've got it. These are amazing, ready-to-use templates. So if you're on the call today and you're like, okay, how do I get access? Well, how do you get access? You can go to our website, which I'll have Eddie posted in the comment window, canva.com/education. We'll make sure we sign up. And once again, if you're a district, you can contact us. If you're an individual teacher just wants to give it a try, click the purple sign up button. But I'm happy to meet with any districts and make sure that we can help you guys and get you onboarded in the entire school, all teachers and students. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Chris now, because you don't want to hear me. You want to hear what a real district is actually doing with Canva on Canvas. So Chris, why don't you take it away?
There we go. It's so funny. We're like, rookie mistake with the mute button. Okay. Hey, first of all, thank you for joining us. I totally want to say thank you and a big shout out to Jason from Canva, and definitely a shout out to Eddie for setting this up. We super appreciate the opportunity to just share. As far as, how we use it in our district, we want to talk briefly about that. So maybe we'll talk about setting us up first. So go ahead and let's go to the next slide there. Jason's going to control our slides, so we're not having to switch back and forth. Jason, maybe you go to that next slide, or actually go back 2 slides where your information is, because here's a big question from districts. They're going to say, well, listen, first of all, Canva's free. That's a mind-blowing concept already, but Jason, our district doesn't have Canva. How in the world do we get that started? And then one last question real quickly, Jason, is if you're a Canvas using district, even potentially not a Canvas using district, can our district still get Canva?
Absolutely. So Canva, once again, can be used by an individual teacher within your district, and you can go to the sign up page there. But if you do want to get your whole district signed up, feel free to email myself at jwilmot@canva.com, or an individual on my team, Andy Shaw at canva.com. We're happy to help you guys get set up. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah. Awesome. The reason why I wanted to bring that up, because it's a few steps. So for those districts who are like, okay, this sounds awesome, you will need to get your IT involved. We in our district, we have some great IT staff. We're able to do that. And so basically the big goal for us is to make sure that our students can do the single sign-on. We don't want students to have to memorize one more account. And so when I say things like Canva and Canvas integration in our school district, the big takeaway for us is one less thing that our students have to remember or think about. To click login, and then they're into Canva and they can start using it as well. So, so let's go to the next slide. So basically, when we're talking about what's new, the big new to me is integration. In a district our size, we're 42,000 students in our district. We've been using Canvas. This is going to become our 6th year. When we look at tools for our students and our teachers to use, a huge factor is the LTI, the learning tool interoperability. We want our tools to be integrated in Canvas. Again, no passwords, no different accounts. The students can access that work. And then the seamless integration means that students and teachers can use Canva in Canvas to pass work to one another, to give feedback. And that's what we'll be talking about today. So let's go to the next one. All right, awesome. Okay, so as far as the integration, and again, Jason has shared out this slide to you, and I don't want to spend a lot of time on the slide, but the things that we love, the things that are truly important to us when we use any tools is that integration. And so we want students to be able to click into Canvas, click Canva for Education, and that automatically just opens up Canva quickly. They can access it and they can start to do the work. So if you think about, hey, listen, friends, talking to my students, I want them to complete something, to complete a task. Again, I can click on that button if I'm a student on the left-hand side, and then it opens up Canva and I can start working and start using that. And that's a really important thing that we want our students to be able to do. Jason, let's go to the next slide. And again, these slides are shared with Jason, so you can have access to these slides.
Hey, Chris.
To me, yes, go ahead, my friend.
Sorry, buddy. I don't mean to interrupt here. And I also apologize to anybody who gets stuck at the bottom of the live stream, because when these comments pop up, we just cover their face. It's a little like Monsters Inc. You get to be Mike Wazowski for the day. Nicole, I'm sorry. you're the odd one out down there. So this one came in from YouTube. Is there a limit to the amount of students that can use the Canva for Education in one school's account?
I can jump in there, Chris. Absolutely not. So we, like Chris said, Beaverton's about 42,000 students. We've onboarded districts as large as 80,000 students. We're working with districts that are hundreds of thousands of students. So we want to work with you. We'll make Canva as big as it needs to be for how many students you have.
Yeah, no, and I think it's an important question, because folks are going to ask, hey, our district is small, our district is large. How does Canva fit in our landscape? And I love the answer is simply bring them on, bring everybody on, and we'll get you onboarded. And that's what it is in our district. Our staff is onboarded as far as like actual access, and our students as well. Our training will happen this fall when we go back to school in a few weeks. So
I'll jump in really quickly because I've got two things. I told Jason when we were talking yesterday, the day before, I can't believe this is free. I mean, I'm a person that was paying for it because I loved Canva so much on my own. So I was one of those unique individuals as we transferred everyone in the district over, where we had to do some background work and transfer my paid for account into my school account. So actually I can toggle back and forth between the stuff that I used to make with my private account that I was paying for, and now what I can do with the education account. And again, like I'm shocked, because everything I was doing and accessing before with the paid pro account, I have access with the educator's account. So it's blowing my mind that we have that kind of access. And I'm just really excited for all of our teachers and our students to get access as well and to start exploring. So
it's like getting the most high-end luxury car you can get, and then the dealer says, but wait, there's more. I'm going to throw in every bell and whistle on top of that for free. Take it away and enjoy it. And I think Nicole and I, like the other day, we're just like, again, this is free. Like, so
crazy.
So anyways, we'll go back into like, let's go to the next step again. So what you saw, like step one, as a teacher, I can create an assignment. My students can just go ahead and do the work if they want to in Canva. But But the relationship between Canvas and Canva to me are these slides here. If I want my students to submit something to me as a teacher, I want evidence of their learning, evidence of their thinking, they want to use Canva as that tool, then I'm setting up those assignments in Canvas, which if you've ever used any of the other LTI tools, if you're a teacher who's been using Canvas, the setup, the experience is very similar. On that screen, on the GIF that you see there, I'm setting up an assignment. I'm making sure that the assignment is a URL assignment. I'm using the plugin tool in my rich content editor to choose the template that I might want my students to use or start from scratch. And then I'm hitting save. Go ahead and let's go to the next slide, Jason. And then as far as the students' access, I mean, it is click, go into Canva, start working my assignments, completing my assignments. And here's the beauty of it. I don't have to really share the URL from Canva. I can actually just hit submit in Canvas and then choose Canva. It'll open up my screen, just like my Google Drive or my OneDrive would open up. It will open up the same experience for the student. And then I'm like, oh, here's the assignment I want to submit to my teacher and turn it in. And again, to me, the beauty of this is it's not one more account. It's not one more place my students have to do work over here. It's the integration that's seamless where I do my work as a student. I submit to my teacher if they want to have, archived evidence or learning if they want to. And then the beauty of this is then as a classroom teacher, I have SpeedGrader. I have the ability to give feedback. I have the ability to go ahead and really give, if you want for an assessment, a formative assessment, a summative assessment, it doesn't really matter. This is the beauty of that integration.
I think our biggest selling point with Canvas with teachers is the SpeedGrader aspect, providing feedback to our students. So I think the more we push that, which is what we're always trying to do, the better. And I think that the fact that Canva allows us to do that. I mean, we're constantly trying to push our teachers, right, to innovate and to try new things. And Canvas is like, easy for us to provide that feedback. It makes it, teachers' time is more efficient, but then Canva allows the kids to be a little bit more creative and show what they know in a new and unique way. So we're excited.
So let's go, Jason, let's go to slide. I think it's the next, the 17, where it just says Beaverton School District. Yeah, beautiful. And this is where I want Nicole to really give a chance to share, because we're not gonna have a hard time convincing teachers to use Canva. That's the easy part.
Yeah, okay, so let's go ahead and go to the next one. So, I mean, I think when we start talking about, building content within Canvas, a lot of the times we're talking about humanizing the experience. We're talking about thinking beyond just a 12-point font Times New Roman black and white text. As I often tell teachers, you'd never type something out and say, answer this prompt. And it's just, again, 12-point font Times New Roman on a piece of paper. You print that out, you go to the Xerox, you copy out 180 copies and slap that on a student's desk. Hopefully you're putting a little bit more design into what you're providing for the students. And I think that the same goes for anytime you're creating digital content. We have to remember that our students are incredibly savvy consumers. And so using and utilizing the templates that Canva has is going to make you look like a design star because they've already got so many different elements available to you. So let's go next slide. So this is an example that I've used as I've talked with teachers quite a bit to get away from that 12-point font Times New Roman. Our students have Chromebooks and their Chromebooks are quite small. And so, to put tiny little font that has no engagement or interaction for the kids is, snooze fest. So how can we make this a little bit more engaging for our kids? That's what we need to start asking ourselves. And I don't want teachers to have to spend tons and tons of time when creating digital content. So again, that's where we kind of turn to tools like Canva to help us in that aspect. So let's go next slide. So one first step, I think, and this is a big one when we send out our shells to our elementary teachers and to our secondary teachers, is that we create kind of a simple, basic Canvas shell. And we do add some banners and some buttons. I'm a big fan of buttons, especially with some of our younger students, our elementary students and our middle school students. Navigating throughout Canvas, buttons are awesome. And going into what they provide for you in Canva is going to make that process super fast, super easy. And uploading into Canva, again, getting away from that black and white text, adding a little bit of color, humanizing the experience, making it a little bit more engaging. So this is step one. add a few banners, add some buttons, super nice and easy. And in fact, even as Chris was kind of talking about, like when we move students in and they're in Canvas already and we want them to go and do something in Canva, you know, we've got a link in the left side navigation. You can also build buttons. I was just creating an assignment where I was going to have students, we're doing it in advisory, but they're going to be creating like a logo and updating their Canvas profile with a logo that they make on Canva. I didn't want to necessarily give them a template. I want them to be able to create whatever they might want. And so I created a button in Canva that links them to the logo templates on Canva. So those are just some ideas, quick and easy ways for you to utilize Canva in Canvas. Okay, next one for me, please.
And Nicole, just a real quick comment. You know, folks may not be familiar with the UDL and understanding by design.
Yeah.
That's a principle that Nicole and I are both working towards helping our teachers understand. And the reason, again, back to Nicole saying, engage your students. And it's not just a matter of doing a task, it's engaging them, appeasing. And so we try to use those principles to kind of help guide our design and how we engage our students.
Yeah, I think we're always kind of thinking, what's the next big thing in education? And we've kind of moved beyond, you know, tech integration. And now we're talking more about UDL, information design. We're talking about equity practices, equity in grading. And UDL, I think, comes along with this idea that we're trying to provide access to students. That's one of the major reasons we use Canvas, right? So how do we create things that are not just engaging and fun to consume, but also are accessible for our kids? Here's an example. I just want to make sure I reference a couple of things. As I'm creating exemplars at the district level for people within Beaverton School District, I've been trying to stick with a brand. We've got this kind of garish orangey yellow in our logo that I just have to use everywhere, and I just have to get over the color scheme. But I go in and I build the brand within Canva so that I have my colors that I'm consistently using. I build out my banners. I use these home buttons. Now, of course, as I'm building in modules within Canvas, I have my forward and back buttons, but I do like to have a home button. I like to have an overview for the module or unit that I'm building so that kids can easily navigate wherever they need to. So these are a few things that I'm like making sure I'm doing on a regular basis as I'm pushing out these district exemplars for teachers to kind of just see, oh, okay, this is kind of what they're talking about. But yeah, just simple banners and buttons, step one. Okay. All right. Next one. I think, you know, especially after this past year, teachers have really been diving deep in their slide deck knowledge. And you might have gotten to a point where you're like, these are all tried and true, and I'm a little bored with it. So moving into some templates that might be provided through Canva is a great idea. If you're really wanting to translate them back into Google Slides, you can definitely do that. You can take images back and forth. You can use screenshots and add them in. I do that sometimes. So some options there to just spice up Zoom. I mean, the way things are going, I mean, I hate to be doom and gloom, but we might need to be back up in those slide decks again, people. So, okay, next slide. So just know these templates are there and available. Oregon, we're in a special place where we don't necessarily have to write up daily or weekly lesson plans. So these lesson plan outlines might really be more for substitute lesson plans. Again, as a district TOSA, I sometimes do have to write out lesson plans to accompany some of the district pieces that I'm pushing. So I have used templates like this in the past, but again, just knowing that they're there. Okay, next slide for me. Thank you. Oh, go back one more. So this is okay. So this is something where I'd like for us to talk a little bit more about universal design and the idea of making things that are accessible for our parents. And, you know, if you haven't necessarily jazzed up your community newsletter, you might want to think about that. Again, not just our students are savvy consumers, our parents are too. And again, make yourself look like maybe this information design superstar by utilizing what they already have available. So we keep bringing up that UDL piece. Again, it's accessibility. Once you're done here, you can even share within the district. So if you have translators within the district that you need to have access to what you're building in Canva, that's easy to do as well. Okay, next slide. Okay, so I love this, and I'm going to share a personal story of Chris's if he's okay with it. He's like, what is she talking about? Because we didn't pre-plan this. Chris has a background that he uses for almost all of his Zooms that is like a Bitmoji coffee background with his favorite 80s movies in the back. And I'm just curious, Chris, did you build that? Yeah, you built in some of your things, but the background you super sleuthed and found it somewhere. So
correct.
I'm just saying, there were a lot of us that were like, what is this Bitmoji craze? And they were spending hours and hours of time building out their Bitmoji classroom. So the fact that you can have like a branded content, a classroom kits like this is like pretty genius. And again, nobody wants to spend that kind of time right now building something like that out. So utilize what they have. And again, you're ahead of the game at that point with designing something special for your classroom.
And if I just want to add one thing real fast. The beauty of this, again, your district who uses Canvas next year as a classroom teacher, I import that content. I'm not spinning my wheel and spending hours redesigning. Canva, same thing. I'm not redesigning every single time. I could redeploy, I could repurpose, but I'm not starting from scratch. And to me, as a person who's not a natural designer, I love the fact that I can build on what I've already started. I don't have to start from scratch. And when Nicole talks about some of these kits that are already there, that makes me feel good.
Yeah. And I mean, I think organization wise, when you're in Canva, you still have access to like all of your previous things that you've worked on. So, being able to update things is nice and easy, just like you're used to with other platforms. So I think that's really helpful. Okay. Next one. Yeah. So I guess the only piece that I have that I wanted to reference here is that hopefully, I think the worksheets, again, you're not starting from scratch and you're going somewhere with it, hopefully beyond just, a digital substitution. We recently also started using Cami in our district. And again, we have students with Chromebooks that have styluses. And I love the interplay with like actually making a worksheet a little bit more interactive. Than just your typical, things. So that would be my only thing here is that we try to think outside of the box in worksheets. Like, how are we innovating that and accessing that with our kids? Okay, next one, maybe. Okay, so now this is where I think it's really exciting because, and we briefly talked about this, Jason said COPA and FERPA really fast. Go ahead to the next slide for me. We are a district that has definitely cracked down. I don't know if anyone else has, but definitely cracked down on student data privacy and really thinking about being cognizant about, single sign-on, not having kids create random accounts. I have always in the past said, making infographics is a great way to show what you know with research papers, that sort of thing. But in the past, it has been hard to find programs that allow us to do it without having to create a special account or get extra permission. So again, all of these tools are easy and accessible for us because we've gone through the rigmarole of getting everything signed and our student data privacy is good, right? So infographics, a great way for you to just not always, as Chris and I like to tell our teachers, like students don't always have to do a 5-paragraph essay. Like, how can we change that up? As an English teacher myself, I don't want to read another essay. So infographics is a great way to do that. Okay, other options. Yeah, so I mean, group posters. How often do we have students do group posters? I love the idea of changing this to be something digital. I think simply because as a person that was an early adopter, when I went from having to haul home milk crates of journals or huge stacks of essays, and instead everything was digital and all I had to take home was like an iPad and a laptop. I loved that for me. I love that I didn't have to log any of those things anymore and I could easily go through all of the stuff. So moving into digital, being able to provide huge amounts of feedback to my students and provide spaces where they can still do collaborative group posters and group projects. I mean, sign me up. I think this is a great idea. Okay, next one. So yeah, again, different ways to outline. I said group posters, but like group work, group activities. Again, I mean, I think a lot of teachers dove into utilizing things like Google Slides in the past to do some of these group work activities. But I think that this is just going to provide you with even more tools and I was one of those people in the past where I'd want an icon or an element of some sort into my slide deck, and you were hunting everywhere and trying to follow best practices about not, stealing an icon that you shouldn't be stealing. And so again, I can't reiterate like how crazy it is that this is a free product, because like every element, whether it's animated or just a simple icon, all free. Like you're not paying extra for it. Like any of that time where you've been building slide decks and worksheets and group projects in the past, where you're like, I really need a light bulb, and you're trying to find a light bulb, you have access to something like that here. So it's just really crazy to me.
And I just want to ask Jason a real quick question just to confirm what I believe is true. That if Nicole has created something really cool, she can easily share that to me. I don't have to go back out into the web and find, like Nicole can easily share her Canva design with me. I just want to confirm that. And is that through Teams, Jason, or is that just simply a quick share in Canva?
It's just a quick share in Canva. If you go to the top right button where it says share, you can actually share to view, share to edit, or there's one that's often not very commonly used, but you can actually publish it as a template. So Nicole can create a design, publish it as a template to Chris, and then Chris can take a copy of that and make it his own. So not only does Chris can have edit rights and view rights, he now can actually take a template, make it his own. So it really allows that sharing, unbelievable. And then those templates can be used by your students, and they can redesign the template all they want.
So to me, just as a quick user, like I love Google Slides, and I use them for my designs because I can copy and paste, duplicate slides, and they keep going. But to me, this takes this collaboration, this sharing to another level, because I don't think of Canva as just a workspace. Like to me, Google Slides, that's my workspace. Nothing wrong with it. Not against that. Love Google Slides. But to me, this is this next level up. And I even put in the comment, by the way, everybody at home, this whole presentation is done in Canva. This is not Google Slides. Like to me, so when I think of like group work versus collaboration, like to me, we're hitting the collaboration entity of when we're talking about SAMA, we're talking about, TPEC, we're talking about actual integration of technology and good pedagogy. This is what brings that to realism for me as a classroom teacher.
Yeah, I think Jason pointing out that template option is awesome, because teachers we can't be like really proprietary over like, oh, I don't want someone to edit this and change it for me. So I think that template option is really great.
Yep, sharing as a template, Nicole, is a great way to make sure that they're not messing with your designs.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, next slide. I'm okay, good. So I just want to, if you have not gone in and looked at any of the video templates, I just want to say, like, go explore. I definitely have to record a lot of the professional development that Chris and I do. I'm often the one doing a lot of the video editing. I have really dove deep into the video intros, outros, and just recently taught myself finally how to do those like what to watch next exit cards that you can put into a YouTube video or whatever. All of that, I use templates within Canva to create. And I just think they look so, before I was doing this crazy Keynote into iMovie, all sorts of crazy randomness. And to have access to some great tools within Canva, I just would highly recommend. And it's just so easy to use. I think your students are going to love it too. So not just student video templates, like you as a teacher, if you're a flipped classroom teacher and you're creating some videos, really pay attention to this. I can't emphasize enough like how much I've personally used it to, sell specific things or whatever. Like Canva is a great tool to just make something look super polished and amazing. So this video piece is huge. And that's fairly new, right, Jason? Like the video.
Absolutely. Yeah. You can actually record yourself. So, if you have to do an asynchronous lesson plan, you can record yourself in Canva. Then you can make it pretty in Canva. Then you can put it into a template in Canva. So it's really taking that video to the next level where you can incorporate it in that presentation.
And what Nicole said to me was the highlight. She used to have to use Keynote and this application and this tool. And Nicole's awesome at what she does when she designs things. I could just go to Canva now and I could do most of that work in Canva. I love it. We love app smashing, but why do it if I don't need to?
Right. Yeah. I was just telling Chris the other day, I'm like, I literally a year ago was watching all of these videos of different apps and things that people were using, different things that they had to buy or purchase in order to create something. And now it's just like all here in Canva. It's just crazy. There was something else I was going to say. as well. One thing I noticed when I was creating videos, you can create or download as a GIF, like it doesn't have to be a video format. So I think that's important to think about. Just like within other slide decks, you have the ability to animate things. Some of your icons and elements will come in already pre-animated. Some of your icons and elements, you can change colors. Like if they're showing up black, you can change it to blue, whatever. Not all, but some. And so there's just lots of things for you to play around and work with. Like, I just love it. It's just so great. But if you haven't played with the video templates, it is newer. Go in, just really explore. It's fantastic. Okay. I briefly touched on this before, and this was just, again, referencing you've got the ability to go back and access any and all of your previous projects. Canva always keeps, for me at least, the home button up so I can get back to my templates and things that I've worked on in the past, but you can organize it. They've been working on creating places where you've got classroom pieces that you've actually given to students as assignments and things within Canva. And group projects and things that you've shared with people. So just like you're probably used to with other platforms, you've got organizational tools in here too. And I think let's go to the next one. Yeah, I think we're kind of a lot of thoughts there. I'm wondering if we can open it up to any more questions that people might have.
I know that I think if I look over the comments, I mean, people are just excited at the fact that this is free. And, and again, yeah.
Well, Chris and Nicole, thank you. For all the listeners out there, please contact me. I know Eddie has put my email address in the chat window, in the comment window. We want to get you set up. I mean, Chris and Nicole, I can't thank you guys enough for everything you're doing for Canva at Beaverton. I'm so excited about the work and this. And, we really want to help improve student learning outcomes, right? We believe that Canva is a tool to do that, and Nicole and Chris just shared how to do it. So, Eddie, thank you for having all of us today, and I'll turn it over to you to close.
Absolutely. It's been fantastic. I always love to hear from Chris, and now he's bringing new people with him, which is fantastic, like Nicole. But, Canva plus Canvas is amazing. It's awesome. Canva by itself is awesome. Canvas by itself is awesome. But when you put those two things together, man, it really rocks the house, right? Lots of folks here. Kelly, I went ahead and gave you, Jason said earlier on the chat there, just email him directly. He'll help you get that kind of account figured out. He's more than happy to do that, to get that education fixed. Jason, you want to give that email address out really quick in case you missed that comment come through?
Yeah, absolutely. It's jwilmot, WILMOT @canva.com. If anybody's having any issues or wants to get their district set up, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or once again, you can go on this site right here, click a contact us. Somebody on my team will reach out as well. So thanks, Eddie.
Fantastic. All right, Kelly, appreciated it. I love it. Lots of comments. Everyone loves Canva. Everyone loves Canvas. And man, they just make a perfect match in heaven. So Chris, Nicole, Jason, thank you for joining. As always, like, subscribe, retweet, do all the things on all the channels. We really appreciate you guys to get this out into your district so that they can learn more about how Canva can really change their lives. Thanks again, everybody watching. We are out of here until the next one. Can't wait to see you again.